an interesting guest to tell you about. Breitbart, Alex Marlow. I read the book, and I got 1,000 books, literally, okay? So I wanted to see what Marlow had. And here's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in right-wing politics. Breitbart is a conservative site. I knew Mr. Breitbart before he died. I liked him. But what I'm interested in is who paid for all the cases against Donald Trump. And Marlow is investigating that. Now, if you don't know him, he is, let me get your official title here, Alex, so I don't blow it. You are the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News, the host of the Alex Marlow podcast, and a 2-time New York Times bestselling author. Did I have it? Do I have everything? And you want to throw anything else in there on your resume, or do I have it?
No, and a 3-time guest on your show, Bill, which I appreciate. You have me on for both of my other books, Breaking Biden and Breaking the News. And there's an homage to you in that. I've titled my first 3 books in a similar theme to what you do with the Killing series. I was thinking about it. I think other than Stephen King, you're the author I've read the most over the years. So congrats to your longevity.
Oh,
and
you're going to
love
love
homage
Evil.
to Bill O'Reilly in the book title.
Thank you. Thank you. You're going to love Evil coming up September 9th. Now, let's start with Eugene Carroll. And this is probably the least important, but the most outrageous
yes,
to me.
Agreed.
Because I don't know her, but I know who she is. And I know the people she surrounds herself with. And she won $5 million in damages, saying that Trump jumped her in Bergdorf Goodman. I mean, it's just inconceivable that that would happen with no scream or nobody else around. I mean, come on. She still won Manhattan jury. And then she won when Trump said she's X, Y, and Z. She sued him for defamation, won there. Case is presently on appeal. Who gave Eugene Carroll the money to go after Trump?
First of all, I love that you started with this case of the 6 that I profiled because it is the most outrageous. It does seem to be the least serious, but this is a woman who had cats named Tits and Vagina. She basically, her claims against Trump almost mirrored exactly a Law and Order plot from an episode that took place a year or 2 before this event allegedly took place. There are so many implausible moments in the case that I think when people read my retelling of it, they'll actually laugh at certain points. And yet this was put up as a major example of sexual predatory behavior by Trump with virtually little, almost no hard evidence at all. The key point being that she had apparently saved this dress that may have had Trump's DNA on it, but then she wouldn't turn it over to authorities so no one could actually examine it. So, which I talked to Trump about this, and he said he loved that she had the dress because he could have exonerated him. So she kept it a secret. But to answer your question, this was bankrolled by Reid Hoffman, the LinkedIn billionaire, frequent Biden White House guest, a guy who has been involved in basically every major Democrat funding operation, period. And he is someone who is part of this revolving door of donors that is involved in so many of these nefarious plots by the left to try to buy portions of the American government. This was the idea of George Conway, the famed legal pundit and ex-husband of Kellyanne Conway. Who was a huge
let me stop you there. When
it was Conway's idea, and Hoffman funded it.
All right, let me stop you there. Reid Hoffman, you said frequent White House guest under Obama and Biden. I don't even know. Did he visit Biden?
Yeah, 5 times in 2022 alone, and then there was another meeting that they had that same year.
So he's deeply embedded.
I stopped there. I thought I have what I need at that point.
He's deeply embedded. Now this Eugene Carroll thing. Do you know if she got money directly from him? Was she paid by him?
I don't know if she was paid by him, but her attorneys, and she had the top attorneys possible, the absolute top Me Too attorneys, and this was framed as a Me Too case, that this was an example of Trump preying on a innocent woman and pinning her into a department store dressing room, even though there were no eyewitnesses to it, and apparently Carroll hadn't told anyone who would testify about it for decades. That was how it was framed. And they got the best lawyers in the game in order to be on her team. Those people are not cheap. And they're certainly not something that Eugene Carroll, as a former comedy writer and columnist, could have afforded.
Homeowners, when is the last time you checked on your home title? If your answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles, and your equity is a target. Criminals forge your signature. Just like that, your home title can be transferred out of your name. That's why I partnered up with Home Title Lock. So you can find out today if you're already a victim. Please use my promo code BILL at HometitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you will get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts of any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code BILL. So it was a civil suit. You have to pay lawyers to file all the paperwork. And I'd say estimate $2-3 million. They might have worked pro bono for her and taken a piece, but you're saying that Hoffman paid them outright, but you don't know if he paid her, right?
Yeah, I don't know exactly where the funds were allocated specifically, but I'll tell you there was a clip of Carol after she had gotten I think it was a $95 million judgment against Trump, where she was literally announcing she was going to be buying gifts for her attorneys,
Yeah, we remember
as well
that.
as sympathetic TV pundits.
It wasn't a serious case. Then we go into, and you believe, according to Breaking the Law, your book, that the Manhattan jury would have found Trump guilty of anything. And Trump didn't appear on his own behalf or anything, but the fix was in from the very beginning. That's what you believe, right?
Yeah, and Trump said he probably regrets his strategy, and that I spoke to him about this in an interview earlier this year, and he says that he did not like the way that his attorneys handled it. He had tough words for a guy named Tacopina, who's one of his attorneys, but he also said that it was hopeless, that once the judge and jury were impaneled, it was over for him, and that's part of the problem with the lawfare.
Okay. What is Project 65?
Yeah, Project 65 are attorneys who is a well-funded left-wing effort to target attorneys who work for Trump. And it's essentially legal world cancel culture. It's trying to make it that if you represent Trump or someone who is affiliated with Trump, that you are no longer able to work in polite society again.
Wow.
And you
That's
are
pretty
classed
nasty.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Who's Herb Sandler?
Herb Sandler is a guy who is behind ProPublica. Now, ProPublica is a left-wing activist journalism outlet, and they actually get some stuff right. I know this because I practice some advocacy journalism, Bill, which I'm happy to admit from time to time. It doesn't make you inaccurate if you have an agenda when you're reporting certain things. But he's funded this group that has really tried to take either small kernels of news or outright fake news and use it to weaponize against conservative judges and justices. In particular, he's targeted Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, the two originalist standard bearers on the Supreme Court. And the ProPublica outlet has tried to make their lives a living hell simply because they're originalists. And they've implied this guilt by association stuff that because they have a couple of rich friends, that they must be taking bribes from them to decide court cases in certain ways. And there's no evidence of that at all. It's all speculation, and it's designed to harass them. And this comes from the ProPublica outlet, which is backed by mainly Herb Sandler and the Sandler Foundation, but also George Soros and Laurene Powell Jobs, who owns The Atlantic, and another murderer's row of Democrat philanthropists.
Now, Soros is in his mid-90s. His son, Alex, is running this operation, Open Society or whatever it is.
Yes.
But how active in your book was Soros in trying to harm Donald Trump?
Very active in certain ways because he's able to operate more clandestinely, and his focus in my book is more on the DA races that he bought. Tens and tens of millions of people in this country are living in a area where their DA is soft on crime and is doing everything they can to try to allow criminals
and
back
that was
on the
Bragg
street.
in Manhattan.
And those people were put in power by Soros money.
Soros donated millions to them, and their competition on the other side couldn't match.
That's right.
Final question for you. Media Matters has been in business, almost 30 years. They're character assassins. I've gone up against them many, many times. They're involved in a lot of this, distributing the garbage that comes out of these organizations that want to harm Trump and Republicans. But now it looks like Media Matters is going out of business. You hear that?
It's amazing news. This was one of Andrew's biggest foils when he was alive, and I wish he was here to celebrate with us. Sadly, there's a lot of, I think, facsimiles of it that will just replace the work that Media Matters has done. And I grew to find it to be a compliment whenever they would quote me for some reason. So I will miss that to some degree. But this was the original Soros-funded media operation to try to smear and character assassinate people.
Awful.
Basically for having normative conservative views, the type of views that you and I would opine on a daily basis about, Bill.
Okay. Did you find any research, and again, I did read Alex's book, and if you're into this kind of want to know the specifics, it's very good. You'll get a lot of information out of it.
Thank you.
Did you find any corporate media that reported on any of this Trump stuff in a fair way, methodical way?
No, absolutely not. And one thing that I highlight right at the top is how Jeff Bezos admitted that his paper completely failed on this. And this is not a guy who's a knee-jerk pro-Trump person. I think he's mostly apolitical, if not left-leaning, though I think he's embraced Trump recently to some degree. But he flat out announced that we botched this thing. And this is something that is a point we cannot repeat enough. The corporate media is dead, and we can, frankly, urinate on their graves at this point because they're gone and they're not coming back in a meaningful way. Alternative media is here to stay.
All right, Alex. Thank you very much for helping us out. We appreciate it. Good luck with the book.